For over 2 decades, Lucille Ball was America's most beloved redhead. Her rubber-faced comedy, her quick wit, and her infectious laugh made her the queen of television. She wasn't just a star. She was the most powerful woman in Hollywood, the first female head of a major studio, and a pioneer who opened doors for countless others. But behind that lovable persona was a sharp businesswoman with an unforgiving eye for character. Lucy didn't just make people laugh. She made and broke careers. And privately, she kept a mental list of actresses she believed were not only difficult, but truly dark at heart. Women who hid cruelty, manipulation, or cold detachment beneath polished exteriors. Some were glamorous legends, some were beloved icons, and some were even her closest friends. This is the list Lucille Ball never intended the public to know about the 9 actresses she privately described as souls of pure frost. Lucille Ball first clashed with Joan Crawford in 1971, when Crawford appeared on Here's Lucy. On screen, the audience saw the epitome of Hollywood grace. Perfect posture, immaculate appearance, and carefully rehearsed charm. Off-screen, Lucy saw something else: ice. Crawford's demands began before she even set foot on the set. A 5-page memo outlined the lighting conditions she required, the precise angle of her chair, and even the exact studio temperature. 68 degrees, not 67, not 69. She arrived with her own makeup team, ignoring the award-winning professionals already employed by the show. But the breaking point came with a young wardrobe assistant. The girl, barely 22, made the mistake of bringing Crawford a dress with a faint wrinkle. She called the assistant a useless little nothing, told her to quit the business, and demanded she be fired. The girl fled in tears, and Lucy, who treated her crew like family, was disgusted. To Lucy, it wasn't just bad behavior, it was cruelty calculated with precision. She watched as Crawford instantly transformed the moment cameras rolled, smiling, laughing, and pretending to be gracious, then dropping back into cold silence when the red light clicked off. Years later, when Christina Crawford's memoir, Mommy Dearest, revealed shocking allegations of abuse, Lucy wasn't surprised. "I believe every word," she told friends. For her, the mask had slipped years earlier. But if Joan Crawford was all ice, the next woman on Lucy's list was fire. Fire that burned everyone around her. Few names in Hollywood shine brighter than Judy Garland. To the public, she was Dorothy, the vulnerable soul crushed by the studio system. To Lucille Ball, she was a cautionary tale, proof that talent means nothing if it destroys the people around you. Lucy adored Judy's voice and charisma. She never denied her brilliance, but she also refused to excuse the chaos Judy left in her wake. Garland's legendary lateness, missed appearances, and sudden walkouts didn't just damage her own career. They hurt producers, crews, and co-stars. Lucy once visited a set where Garland was supposed to appear at 5 a.m. The crew had been waiting all morning. Judy finally arrived at 2 p.m., performed brilliantly for half an hour, then declared she was too exhausted to continue. Production shut down. The next day, 3 crew members were fired to cover the losses. Lucy was furious. "Talent doesn't give you the right to destroy other people's careers," she told friends. And to her, that was Garland's legacy. Magic on stage, destruction off it. When Garland died in 1969, Lucy mourned publicly but admitted privately that she wasn't surprised. She believed Judy's tragedy wasn't just personal, it was a ripple effect that ruined lives around her. If Garland's demons destroyed her from within, the next name on Lucy's list represented something she despised even more: a life built on pure fakery. Zsa Zsa Gabor was the darling of talk shows, adored for her thick accent, diamond jewelry, and endless jokes about her marriages. But Lucy saw right through her. "Phony elegance on 2 legs," she once called her. At a charity event in the 1,960 seconds, Lucy watched Gabor play up her glamorous persona for photographers. The moment the cameras disappeared, Zsa Zsa turned nasty, snapping at volunteers, demanding better champagne, and calling the event boring. Lucy couldn't stomach the hypocrisy. What bothered her most was how Gabor's act reinforced stereotypes about women in Hollywood. While Lucy had clawed her way up with hard work and comedy, Gabor flaunted wealth and sexuality. To Lucy, it cheapened the struggle of every serious actress trying to be taken seriously. Years later, when Gabor slapped a Beverly Hills police officer, Lucy's judgment seemed prophetic. The temperamental diva act wasn't an act at all. But while Gabor annoyed Lucy with fakery, the next woman chilled her with real cruelty cloaked in genius. Lucille Ball admired Bette Davis's talent, who didn't. But admiration for her craft didn't blind her to what she considered Davis's biggest flaw: cruelty. At an industry dinner in the 1960 seconds, Lucy watched Davis belittle waiters, interrupt speakers, and cut down colleagues with biting remarks. Later, on studio lots, Davis was infamous for tearing into young actresses, makeup artists, or anyone who made the slightest mistake. Lucy once overheard Davis berating a junior actress for mispronouncing a word. Davis dragged her through the mud in front of the entire crew. Lucy complained to the director afterward, appalled by what she'd witnessed. Her verdict? When you reach the top, you have a responsibility to be better, not worse. To Lucy, Davis's greatness made her cruelty all the more unforgivable. But if Davis embodied cruelty, the next actress embodied something Lucy found even more chilling: emotional emptiness. Barbara Stanwyck was one of the most respected actresses of her era, versatile, tough, and professional. But Lucille Ball saw a side of her that left her shaken. On set, Lucy observed Stanwyck switch emotions on and off like a faucet. One moment sobbing in a scene, the next casually chatting about lunch. To Lucy, who always drew from real emotion, it seemed inhuman, like watching a robot pretend to be alive. What sealed Lucy's opinion, however, was Stanwyck's relationship with her adopted son, Dion. By most accounts, she eventually cut him off completely. As a devoted mother herself, Lucy couldn't comprehend it. "Whatever problems you have with your kids, they're still your kids," she said. To abandon a child was, in her eyes, unforgivable. If Stanwyck was ice, the next actress was a hurricane, a storm Lucy never wanted to endure again. Tallulah Bankhead was larger than life, outrageous, flamboyant, and unfiltered. But when she appeared on the Lucy Desi Comedy Hour in 1957, the experience became a nightmare. Bankhead arrived intoxicated, unable to remember lines, and prone to inappropriate improvisations. She cursed in scenes, made off-color jokes, and even nearly knocked over an expensive camera. Crew members later described her as unmanageable and dangerous. Lucy, who prided herself on professionalism, was livid. After the show, she reportedly told Desi Arnaz, "Never again." To her, working with Bankhead was like trying to choreograph a hurricane, chaotic and likely to end in disaster. But while Bankhead was chaotic, the next woman was even worse. She used chaos as a weapon. Shelley Winters reinvented herself from a blonde bombshell to a respected actress, but off-screen, she was infamous for volcanic temper tantrums. At a Hollywood fundraiser, Lucy witnessed one of Winters' meltdowns. Feeling slighted, Winters screamed at organizers, threw a drink, and caused such a scene that guests walked out. Lucy muttered to her companion, "And that's why I didn't sit with Shell." On another occasion, Winters hurled a cocktail at a Desilu executive during a script meeting. Lucy was furious not just at the disrespect, but at the humiliation the man suffered in front of his team. Lucy suspected Winters' outbursts were strategic. Cause enough chaos, she believed, and people will give in just to make it stop. To Lucy, it wasn't just unprofessional, it was manipulation. Still, as bad as Winters was, the next name disturbed Lucy even more: beauty masking cruelty, Ava Gardner. Ava Gardner was breathtaking, one of the most beautiful women ever to grace the screen, but Lucy believed her beauty concealed an ugly spirit. Gardner was notorious for humiliating assistants and berating staff. Lucy once saw her reduce a wardrobe girl to tears over a dress being steamed too much. She also heard Gardner publicly call her a washed-up clown at an industry event. Lucy wasn't bothered by the insult, her career spoke for itself. What sickened her was the casual cruelty. Lucy often said that if Gardner had been born plain, she would have been forced to develop kindness, talent, or humor. But beauty had excused everything, and decades of privilege had left her hollow. And then came the most shocking name of all, Lucy's own partner in comedy. To the world, Lucy and Vivian Vance were inseparable. Lucy Ricardo and Ethel Mertz, the greatest TV best friends of all time. But in the early years, the reality was much darker. From the start, tensions ran high. Lucy worried Vance was too attractive to play frumpy Ethel, leading to a humiliating clause requiring Vance to stay overweight. Resentful, Vance called Lucy controlling, jealous, and old. Lucy fired back with cutting remarks of her own. One fierce fight broke out after Vance accused Lucy of stealing a scene. Words flew like knives, and the wounds cut deep. And yet, over time, the rivalry softened into respect. By the 1,970 Lucy and Vivian were genuine friends. When Vance fell ill with cancer, Lucy was by her side until the very end. But the scars of their early battles never fully healed. The friendship was real, a writer said, but so were the wounds. Lucille Ball's private list wasn't about gossip, it was about truth. She judged people not by their talent, beauty, or fame, but by how they treated those with less power, the assistants, the crew, the staff who made Hollywood run. She tolerated quirks and egos. What she couldn't abide was cruelty, hypocrisy, or selfishness. And time has proven her right. And guess today, Crawford's cruelty, Garland's chaos, Gabor's fakery, Davis's venom, Stanwyck's detachment, Bankhead's recklessness, Winters's manipulation, Gardner's cruelty, and even Vance's wounded jealousy all have been echoed by countless stories since. Lucy once said, "The camera doesn't just add 10 pounds. It adds a halo that isn't always deserved." And she was right. Behind the halo, she saw the truth. Thank you for joining this journey into Lucille Ball's hidden Hollywood. If these revelations shocked you, the next story will leave you stunned. A beloved TV dad whose perfect on-screen family hid a private life so scandalous that networks had to install a hotline just to manage his emergencies. Don't miss it.